Yeah, I was quite surprised when I researched that topic because there is a possibility that France could relax the 90-day rule for British second home owners. The French Senate has voted in favor of an amendment to the country's new immigration law that would give British second home owners the automatic right to a long stay visa. This amendment still needs to be approved by the French National Assembly, but it is a positive sign for British second home owners who have been calling for the 90-day rule to be scrapped. Well, this 90-day rule was introduced in 2021 after the UK left the European Union. Welcome to the Brexit, sir. And it means that British citizens can only stay in France for a maximum of 90 days in any 180-day period. And this has caused problems for British second home owners who are no longer able to spend as much time in their French homes as they used to. The French government has said that it is willing to consider relaxing the 90-day rule for British second home owners, but it has not yet made a final decision. The government is concerned about the potential impact of relaxing the rule on the French economy and the housing market. However, there is growing pressure on the government to relax the rule from both French and British businesses. The British Chamber of Commerce in France has said that the 90-day rule is harmful to the French economy, and the French tourism industry has also expressed concerns about the impact of the rule. It's still too early to say whether the French government will relax the 90-day rule, but the vote in the Senate is indeed a positive sign for British second home owners, but Macron didn't sound that positive. The government is likely to continue to consider the issue before making a final decision. And as I said, the French government has not yet made a final decision on whether to approve the amendment to the immigration law that would give British second home owners the automatic right to a long stay visa. And there are concerns, and President Macron made it quite clear in his first statements I heard that he's not so positive against it, for it. But they will consider and they will take time. French President Emmanuel Macron said that he's open to the idea of relaxing the rule and that the government has been meeting with representatives of the British Chamber of Commerce in France and the French industry to discuss the issue. But around that, the comments were a bit different. The government is also likely to take into account the results of a public consultation on the issue, which closed on October 31st. The consultation received over 20,000 responses, with the majority of respondents in favor of relaxing the 90-day rule. And the French government is now expected to make a final decision on the amendment to the immigration law by the end of 2023. The amendment only applies to British citizens. The French government has said that it's not considering extending the automatic right to a long stay visa to other nationalities at this time. The reason for this is that the 90-day rule was introduced in response to the UK's withdrawal from the European Union. And as a result, the French government believes that it would be fair to give British citizens special treatment, or the Senate believes that, as they are no longer able to enjoy the same freedom of movement as they did when the UK was a member of the EU. But there's one important thing not to forget here. Some will say it's British exceptionalism here, but it's very important. If they change this 90-day rule for France, it's a change of the 90-day rule for France. If they stay 110 days in France, they shouldn't try to cross any of those other invisible borders within the EU. Just saying. But it's possible that the French government will extend the automatic right to a long stay visa to other nationalities in the future if they do it for the British. But this is not something that is being considered right now. You know, Brexit, the United Kingdom's withdrawal from the European Union, is directly linked to the amendment and the special treatment of British second home owners. When the UK was an EU member, British citizens enjoyed freedom of movement within the Union, allowing them to live, work and own property in any EU country without restrictions. And this included the ability to purchase and reside in second homes in France without any limitations. However, upon Brexit's implementation, British citizens lost their automatic right to freely reside in EU countries. And as a result, the French government introduced the 90-day rule, limiting British second home owner stays in France to 90 days per 180-day period. And this restriction significantly impacted British second home owners who were accustomed to spending more extended periods in their French properties. The amendment to the French immigration law proposed to grant British second home owners an automatic long-stay visa, enabling them to stay in France for longer durations beyond this 90-day limit. And this special treatment is primarily attributed to the unique circumstances surrounding Brexit and its impact on British citizens' rights in France. And several factors contribute to this distinct treatment of British second home owners. Because Britain and France share a long and complex historical relationship, fostering deep cultural and economic connections. And British second home owners have historically played a significant role in the French economy, particularly in tourism and, of course, as homeowners in the property sectors. France recognizes the potential economic benefits of easing visa restrictions for British second home owners, particularly, as I said, in terms of tourism revenue and property investment. And the amendment seeks to maintain a degree of reciprocity and fairness, given that French citizens can reside in the UK without similar restrictions. The amendment acknowledges the disproportionate impact of Brexit on British citizens who have lost their EU-granted freedom of movement. Granting British second home owners special visa privileges is seen as a way to mitigate the negative consequences of Brexit for this specific group. The French government may also consider political factors in its decision-making. Maintaining a positive relationship with the UK and addressing the concerns of British second home owners could play a role in the government's approach to this amendment, but we don't know yet. The French government will also consider the public opinion and the potential economic impact of this amendment. And if there is widespread support for easing visa restrictions for British second home owners and a perceived positive economic impact, the government may be more inclined to approve the amendment. One argument was the wait times for visas for British citizens in France as well. The increase in processing times for visas in France since Brexit was quite long and attributed to several factors, because Brexit has led to an increase in the number of visa applications from British citizens. As the UK left the European Union, as I said, British citizens lost their automatic right to live and work in France, requiring them to obtain visas to reside or engage in employment. And this surge in visa applications has placed additional strain on the French visa processing system. The French government has faced challenges in recruiting and retaining sufficient staff to handle the growing volume of visa applications. And this shortage of personnel has contributed to the delays in processing visa applications. Following Brexit, the French government has implemented stricter visa requirements and enhanced scrutiny procedures for British citizens, of course. And this increased scrutiny aims to ensure that visa applicants meet all eligibility criteria and to prevent potential security or immigration concerns. However, the more rigorous vetting process has inevitably led to longer processing times. But also the COVID-19 pandemic has further disrupted visa processing operations in France. The pandemic's impact on travel restrictions, lockdowns, and public health measures has made it even more challenging for visa applicants to attend appointments, submit documents, and undergo the necessary verification processes. The French government's resources for visa processing are finite, and the surge in applications from British citizens, coupled with the needs for stricter scrutiny and the pandemic's impact, has strained these resources. And this limited capacity has contributed to the overall increase in visa wait times. In an effort to address the issue of visa delays, the French government has implemented measures such as increasing staffing levels, streamlining the application process, and utilizing technology to improve efficiency. However, the backlog of visa application remains significant, and it is likely to take some time for processing times to return to pre-Brexit level. But another issue is causing discussions there, that is the council tax. The council tax, also known as taxe d'habitation in France, is a local property tax that is levied on all residential properties in France. And this includes second homes owned by British citizens. The amount of council tax payable is based on the value of the property and the location of the property. The introduction of the 90-day rule in 2021 has had a significant impact on British second home owners in France already, as I said. And now they are limited what time they can stay. And of course, with regard to this, that they cannot use their home as much as they want, this has also brought discussions on council tax, because this had led to a decrease in demand for second homes in France and has also resulted in a decline in council tax revenue for the local authorities. And in response to this decline in revenue, some local authorities in France have introduced additional taxes on second homes with the permission of the president. And these taxes are designed to discourage British second home owners from leaving their homes empty for extended periods of time. The additional taxes can be as high as 60% of the normal council tax rate. And the additional taxes on second homes have been criticized by some as being unfair and discriminatory. However, local authorities argue that they are necessary to ensure that British second home owners contribute their fair share to the local economy. The future of council tax in France for British second home owners is uncertain. However, it's clear that the 90-day rule has had a significant impact on those second home owners, and that local authorities are looking for ways to recoup lost revenue. But I have some additional details about the council tax, of course, so you understand it a bit better. The council tax is payable annually. The amount of council tax payable is based, as I said, on the value of the property and the location of the property. The value of the property is determined by the French tax authorities. And the location of the property is determined by the commune in which the property is located. The commune is the lowest level of local government in France. And the commune sets the council tax rate for its area. And that's why the council tax rate can vary depending on the commune. And British second homeowners can pay their council tax online by bank transfer or by check, so that's easy. And British second homeowners are encouraged to pay their council tax on time to avoid penalties, because they also exist. We will see how this all ends. But there's one thing this makes very clear again, that the EU consists of 27 sovereign nations, that in all the ways where they didn't transfer the voting rights to the Council, the Commission and the Parliament, the nations make the rules. And this includes immigration. And if you want to know something else, the next video is right in the end screen. I'll see you there. I'll be back.